Hi everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to be doing some French country Easter decor using IOD. You can find a full product list in the description of this video and all your crafting needs on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. I found a bunch of white egg cups at the op shop for $1 each. You can also get them off Amazon, and we're going to be giving them a makeover using IOD's Classic Elements mold. After dusting my mold with cornstarch, I have worked Jovi air dry clay into the mold using my thumb. I'm then going to flip it over and use gravity to help me get it out. I'm using a strong wood glue to attach it to my egg cup. I've already primed these using Rustoleum's clear matte sealer. I'm being very careful as I bend and manipulate this so I don't damage any details. After this has been sitting for a while, I'm coming in with Dixie Belle's vintage duck egg and a small artist brush, and I'm painting the entire thing with 2 coats. Now I'm being very gentle, and I'm using this smaller brush so that I can get into the details of the castings. Usually I prime slick surfaces like this with Dixie Belle's Slick Stick Bonding Primer, but I thought I'd give the Rustoleum Clear Matte Sealer a try, and I'm very happy with the results. I'm going to set that off to dry, and then I'm going to use Dixie Belle's Gloss Clear Coat to seal the whole thing. While that's drying, I'm going to grab one of my Riot Art foam eggs for the next step. I'm going to be painting this with 2 coats of Dixie Belle's Drop Cloth Chalk Mineral Paint. Once that's dry, I'm going to grab IOD's new Antiquities stamp. I'm going to be using IOD's permanent black ink with these. I'm removing the stamp off the backing since I need to be able to manipulate it around a round surface, and I'm applying a generous amount of ink, but not so much that we're going to get smudging. I am then going to very carefully position it over the top of the egg, and once I'm happy with the position, I'm going to press down in the center first, and then I'm going to use my fingers to bend and manipulate the design so that I have good contact with each part of the stamp. While I'm doing this, I always have one hand in place holding the stamp so that it does not shift. Once I'm happy, I'll carefully remove the stamp. I'm pretty happy with that impression, and I'm going to carefully turn it over, and we're going to stamp the other side as well, repeating the same steps. I wanted to do both sides because if this sits in the center of the table, I wanted it to look great no matter what angle you're seeing it at. So I'm using this sweet little rooster from the Antiquities stamp design, but there are so many lovely designs that you could use, or IOD has a lot of other beautiful stamps that you could use for this project. I'm going to set this off to dry, and then I'm grabbing some of my cornstarch and dusting my Classic Elements mold again. I want to do some of that sweet little bead trim on the side, so I'm rolling my clay into a sausage style shape, working it into the design, and then using my thumb to get a clean line. I'm then using a strong wood glue that I'm going to use to attach it to the egg. I've got another little egg cup there. I'm just using that to make sure that I've got the position correct. I do have to make another little bit of the mold though for the sides where I came up a little bit short. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to grab some of Dixie Belle's Drop Cloth again, and I'm using a small artist brush to paint the clay. Now, I did not add the molds first because it would have been way too hard for me to add the stamp without damaging the molds. Once my paint is dry, I'm going to seal the egg with Dixie Belle's Gloss Clear Coat. To add some age and depth to my egg cup, I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Grunge Glaze. I'm applying it with a small artist brush so that I can make sure that I'm able to work it into the details. When this dries, it will be a lovely brown tone. Right now it looks a bit blue, so don't panic. It will turn into an antiqued glaze look. You could also use a paint wash or even a dark wax for this step. If you don't like an antiqued finish, you could go the opposite direction and you could use a white glaze or a wash or a white wax instead. Next, I'm going to use a paper towel, and I'm gently going to dab and wipe away some of the excess glaze so that it mainly sits in the details. Now, because I have already sealed this with the Gloss Clear Coat, I'm going to have the freedom to wipe back as much or as little as I want, and I'm also adding a bit of glaze around the edge of the egg cup. I'm then going to do the same sort of look on my egg. I'm working the glaze into the details of the little trim there, and I'll also add it to the rest of the egg. Next, I'm going to use a paper towel to carefully dab off the excess. Once everything is dry, I'm going to grab my Gorilla Super Glue gel and I'm going to add some around the rim of the egg cup so we can attach the egg. Next, I'm going to grab one of my other favorite products, which is Dixie Belle's Gold Gilding Wax. I've got a little bit on my finger and I'm going to add a little bit around the details of the molds. To finish this off, I'm going to make a simple little bow out of some twine. I've doubled over the twine. Now I'm going to tie a bow here and then I am going to very carefully cut the end there so that it's even on both sides, and then I'm going to use the same Gorilla Super Glue to attach it to the top. I'm just going to put a little bead of glue up the top and then carefully attach my bow. I love the rustic feel of twine, but you could also use lace or ribbon. And here's our finished egg cup piece. I'm really happy with how this little piece turned out. I think it's really sweet and I think it's amazing how IOD's molds and stamps can transform two very plain, simple things into beautiful Easter decor. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. For our next project, I'm going to use another 2 of my Riot Art eggs. I'm giving each of them 2 coats of Dixie Belle's Drop Cloth Chalk Mineral Paint. I'm then going to cast part of the same element from the Classic Elements mold that we used on the egg cup. I just want part of it, and I'm using Jovi air dry clay and carefully pressing it in. I'm then using a strong wood glue to attach it. I'm then going to be using the bunny from the Fleur-de-lis mold here, and I'm going to work my clay just like I did before into the mold, and I'm using my thumb to get a nice clean edge, and then I'm going to use the same wood glue to carefully attach it to the egg. Once my clay's been sitting for a little bit, I'm going to come in with another coat of Dixie Belle's Drop Cloth. I'm being very careful on the details of my castings. You could also use resin to make your castings. Just make sure that you bend and manipulate them pretty soon after you take them out or heat them up with a hairdryer. I'm repeating the same step for the other egg here, and I just love the Classic Elements detail on here. I think it looks like a broken off piece of architecture, and I just think that it goes beautifully on this egg. Once my eggs are dry, I'm going to seal them both with Dixie Belle's Gloss Clear Coat. I'm using my little fan artist brush here because it is a lot gentler on my castings. To tie in with our first project, we're going to be using the grunge glaze on the eggs as well. I'm working the glaze into the details of the egg and then also painting the rest of the egg as well. I'm then grabbing a paper towel and gently dabbing off the excess. I just love how the glaze highlights the details on the castings, but again, if this look isn't for you, you would just leave this step out. Once the glaze is dry, I'm coming in with Dixie Belle's Gold Gilding Wax and I'm just adding it a little bit here and there to highlight some of the details. And I'm also then going to gently brush some on the other parts of the egg, and the look that I'm going for is almost like gold flecks or gold foil. If gold isn't for you, you could definitely use another color gilding wax, or you could just leave this step out. I'm repeating the same steps for the other egg. And here are our finished French country eggs. I think that these turned out beautifully, and again, you don't have to use the same molds. You could really take this in any direction that would suit your style. Let me know what you think of these in the comments. This was such a fun project to work on. I hope that it's inspired you to make some of your own decor for Easter this year. Let me know what you think of today's video in the comments. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and a comment, and subscribe if you would like to see some more DIYs. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. You can find all of the products used in today's video on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. Thanks for watching.